This is Sean Haynes at the Ag Center giving you a weekly update in California dairy markets. Milk prices continue to kind of be under pressure this month in December at about 1976, about $1 off of last month. A lot of pressure from the Class 3 markets and cheese. Cheese inventories, even though they've been really low this year compared to last year, and domestic and export volumes have been kind of up, there's a lot of pressure coming from these new plants that have been planning to put on back east, about 4 of them, that are going to produce a lot more bulk cheese on the block and barrel side, and the cattle that are kind of going into them as well. And so that's put some pressure on the market, kept prices kind of down. One offsetting pressure to that Class 3 market and also the Class 4 market recently is the U.S. dairy production report came out showing that we were about a 1% down from for production of milk this year so far this month, and also looking at cattle numbers being down as well. California's down about 9.2% on volume, 3.5% on the number of cattle. When I'm talking to the creamers, they're also reflecting between an 8 and 12% reduction in volumes coming through the creamers as well. A lot of that due to this bird flu pandemic has been kind of going through all these dairy herds. It's been really rough on them, and so that's also dropped production. When you look at long range, though, I think between the heifer hole we have coming up, I continue to talk about that. And you look at the actual fact that a lot of these plants out here are going to retool and go from making commodity cheese to further processed cheese. You're not going to see kind of this influx of cheese that is expected in the market. And the market's also, it's showing that a little bit. And if you look at the first quarter next year, prices have kind of gotten in the mid $20 range all of a sudden with pressure upward over time. I think between looking at that, all things being equal, I think I have some signals saying better milk prices next year than where they are currently. We'll see if I'm right or not. Forage prices on the feed side continue to be pretty consistent. We're looking at winter forage about $5 to $10 less than last year in the field. Some folks trying to pick off some forage in the pit from guys cheap. Don't do it. I've seen some feed companies say, hey, I'll give you $20 a ton field price for that silage you've got on that pit, but it's really worth 45 guys. It's going to be a little bit worth even more once you get later in the season, so I would say no. Hay pricing continue to remain strong at $2.90 for Supreme Test hay delivered. Hulls at $84 North Market, $100 South Market, and then the beef markets continue to stay pretty strong. A lot of cattle needed. Plants are running about 72% capacity. They typically like to run 85%. And you're looking at bull calf prices on the Holstein side at $500 per head, $790 per head on a beef on dairy cross animal, and then cull prices at $110 to $120 for high yielding Holsteins. Last but not least, when looking at the forward market for those calves, you're looking at $360, $370 a pound for 450 weight beef on dairy cross calves, and $4.07 to $4.09 for 3 1/4 weight Holstein calves. So beef markets continue to be a strong player on dairy profitability this year. So that's what I've got this week on dairy markets. Thanks.